Oh, this is an interesting spot I just found. This little, on the way back to Horkins, there's like this grave site over here in like a cross shape. That's interesting. I don't think it actually matters. I think it's just here for flavor, but that's worth noting. We are now near the island's center, the sacred place. Without its blessing, none are allowed to enter. Oh. Okay. I guess referring to the Rainbow Road over there. Hey everybody, this is Captain Resurrector, here with another episode of Drakkhen. Last time we went back into the Air Princess's castle and saved Princess Hortka from her dungeons. Then we followed her back to Hagka, the water princess, who in fact is the leader of the 9th-tier allies. And she told us to come here with her, where we're going to apparently fight Drakkhen and take his jewel, his tier, which, by the way, last time we got Hortka's tier from her. She just gave it to us. So, without further ado, let's see about Drakkhen. Oh, that was wrong. Not that it matters. Okay. Leave it once. Boom. Ooh, this is a locked door. Last we were in here, I don't think we had unlock magic yet. You enter what seems to be a shrine. Ooh. Weird short door over there. Don't know what that's about. Get out, you bunch of curs. This place is sacred. Ooh. Don't you fucking say nothing unusual here, by the way. Okay, words are carved in the pedestal. Turn the handle after you check the marks on the floor. Okay, don't know where that's referring to yet, but we'll find out. Oh, these marks. The blue elixir born of earth and water is in the god's stomach. Blessed are those who wet their lips at the holy fountain. Interesting. I don't know why we have a dead-end room in here, but okay. Well, that's a pretty good way, pretty simple way of hiding a sort of a lore dumpy area. Just have one locked door in the first dungeon before you get the unlock spell. Drakkhen, orders from the princes of air and fire. Find and slay the priest who is trying to solve the puzzle of the 9th tier. Intercept the fire troops for heresy against the 9th tier. And find the group of humans acting for them and slay them. Ooh, okay, I just overlooked this when I first came through. That is incredibly poorly worded. As everything is in this game. So, find and slay the priest who is trying to solve the puzzle of the 9th tier. Intercept the fire troops for heresy against the 9th tier. Sounds like he's punishing them for heresy, but it sounds like it's his telling him to go with them and betray the 9th tier, I think. That appears to be the case. How dare you return without my permit? For that you die, ha ha ha. Oh shit. Hold on. Sword is what I want. Let me see if fireball helps. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that helped. Yep. Alright. So we just killed Drakkhen, presumably for real. I believe that Drakkhen is now dead. We do have his tier, so that happened, it registered, so I'm just used to everything respawning in this game, but we just fucking killed him. Our first, like, seeming ally from the start of the game. And now, I guess we just walk back to Hakka, right? You know, walking through here and not talking, I'm just now noticing how fucking insane the encounter rate is in this game. Like, you run into somebody like every 2 seconds. Here's another, like, grave site. Interesting little dead end. I guess it's supposed to be a grove. The Drakkhen Island clearly has been through some shit with all the war stuff happening in the background and just graves everywhere on the overworld. Like, they really do a decent job of making it look like a war-torn land with, like, zero production budget. Alright, back at Hakka's place. Let's see what she has to say now that we have Drakkhen's here. Water is clear. I wonder... what if I use this empty file? Nothing happens, okay. I thought maybe I could, because, you know, they were talking about drinking the blue elixir or something. Like, maybe I could get it from that. Glory to the allies of the 9th tier. Congratulations, you did it. Here is my gem as thanks. Listen, recently the Fire Princess Hazulka has not been heard from. She is a member of our allied forces. I didn't realize that. Okay. Would you go to her castle in the southwest and see if she is well? You are supposed to meet Prince Drakkhen there. The prince leading my troops must be somewhere in the desert. Okay. Very cool. So, kind of the whole start of the game, and I did add a little time onto this by, like, going around and seeing every house as soon as I could. But, like, for the first while of the game, there are no tiers. You don't get shit. And now, all of a sudden, basically in 2 steps, saving Drakkhen and killing Drakkhen, now I have 3 tiers in, like, an hour or less of gameplay. It's interesting pacing-wise. Alright, so... after this point in the video, I stopped recording, came back a few days later, and I have now, for the first time in my Let's Playing career, if you want to call it a career, right? I have run into the old mistake of fucking up my recording and losing a bunch of footage. Now, luckily, all I lost was my voice. I have the game footage, so I have... I'm circling back around to commentate it right now. So, basically, I recorded about a video and a half's worth of gameplay. So the rest of this video and the whole next video is going to be like post hoc recording. It's kind of a shame, really, because, you know, a lot of stuff went down, as you're about to see, and you don't really get my blind reaction to it anymore. None of it is a surprise anymore. And I could have gone back and replayed this portion of the game, but I just didn't want to, you know? For you to raise the dead, you must go to the shrine. Of this island's 4 shrines, you know only the one in the east. Which is not true, and I still don't know what he meant by that. But yeah, there are 4 shrines, we know that. One thing I definitely wanted to talk in this video, and I did originally while I was playing, is I want to bring up the composer of this game, which I imagine I will often do in my Let's Plays. I love video game music. And this is a relatively little known composer here, Hiroyuki Masuno, who is a Japanese video game composer from back in the day, did a lot of like sound design in general in old video games. I mostly know him for this, which was an original score for the Super Nintendo version. The original Amiga version of the game had a very limited soundtrack, and the DOS version had I believe a full soundtrack, but it was completely different. Each one was completely exclusive. Here we go by another of the grave sites in this game. They're just all over the place. But Hiroyuki Masuno, what I know him for, besides this game, I primarily know him for this game, but he also did that little loose trilogy of point-and-click NES adventure games back in the day, the Uninvited, Shadowgate, and Deja Vu. He did all of those soundtracks, which were also originally also off of computer games that did not have music, and he wrote new music for them and just absolutely elevated them. I particularly fond myself of Uninvited, which is just a really weird, spooky game and everything. And he also, much less positively, in my opinion, did the soundtrack to Bamboozle for the Super Nintendo, which, if you have ever been subjected to Bamboozle for the Super Nintendo, you know exactly what I mean by that. It is not for the faint of heart.
Ready.
Ruffians attacked Princess Hazulka's castle. The castle is the greatest symbol of our culture. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is Hiroyuki Masuno there, the composer, he's not well known. Even this soundtrack is not well known, but it really does add a lot to the atmosphere. There's a certain, like, somber, still calmness to this soundtrack. In a lot of its, you know, just a vaguely ominous, vaguely sorrowful sort of thing going on. And it just adds a lot to the character of the game, and it's a lot of why I came back to the SNES version in particular, other than the nostalgia factor, that you're doing a series on the games that introduced me to RPGs, it only makes sense to do the actual versions that did that for me. But the music is the main reason for the SNES version, in my opinion, not having played any of the computer versions. It just adds a lot to this sort of half-dead, half-empty, war-torn world to have all this, like, soft music like it has, this kind of strange atmosphere. I see. It's a human. It's the first scene since the last one. Alright, man. I think that's how that works. I don't know what he's referring to. There are other humans mentioned in passing in this game, but I don't know. We never really find out about any of them. We never really see any of them. Well, there was the guy in Drakkhen's basement, I think it was, with the unpushable button, you know? I don't know. I don't know what he's referring to there, and it's really hard to tell apart if someone were to be a human unless they state it outright, because the Drakkhens just look like whatever they want them to look like. Half of them look like humans, like these little hermit dudes that we're talking to. Like, they look like humans to me, but they're presumably Drakkhens because that's who lives here. This is the Drakkhen Island. We're the interlopers. But there are other humans that, like that Hordka was sheltering. So I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know that there's a real solid and consistent lore, and whatever of that sort there is definitely got lost in the double translation, in the relative lack of a plot in the manual, because this is still back in the days when they would leave things open in game to save space and then clarify in the manual. We were kind of still in the last days of that here. They were still making fucking Dungeons and Dragons games on computers where, like, all of the dialogue is in a separate book, and it's like, go to page 20, you know? And so with something like that, you know, if you change the manual or leave out the manual or whatever, like, whole portions of the plot and whole portions of the lore are just missing. So what I was doing here was I was going to see if there was anything along the road, if Drakkhen, because remember they had said that Drakkhen's army was somewhere in the desert, and I was like, well, that probably means he's actually going to be at the castle, but I might as well check outside. And you can only get into Hazulka's castle at daybreak anyway, so I was wasting time. Now here, I was trying to run away from this constellation guy, and it just so happened that I managed to kill him while running away. That's the first time in my life I have ever killed one of the constellation guys. So we're waiting for daybreak to get into Hazulka's castle, and this is where shit hits the fan in the plot. I've mentioned before that we're not there for a lot of the plot, but here's where that changes. You see only corpses all about the room. They were the troops of Fire Prince Hazulchen. Some were troops of the Air Princess Nachtcha. So we've definitely hit a big turning point in the story, right? They're actively under siege. Nothing remains in the treasure room, not even one bug. Of course, there's nothing unusual. If there's not even a bug, there can't be anything unusual, right? The corpses were bitten by dragons. All the doors have been bashed in. I really love the stuff here. Blood seems to have flowed like a river. The battle was cruel and wasteful. All this flavor text, and having a whole dungeon that's like completely empty, just to really bring home the escalation of the stakes, and at least on Super Nintendo having its whole own music for the area. They really put some effort. There's nothing, only ruins and desolation. Some real effort, some time and money. A futile wind blows from one silent room to the next. They put so much resources just into really bringing this home. Now here was a funny little bit here. I thought that was a tapestry to read, and it's a door. And of course it ends up being the right door to go forward. They put so much into this, and for such an early game, which this version is like 1990, the original I want to say is like 88 or 89, to use up this much space and dev time for what is essentially an interactive cutscene. Really ahead of the time. You hear the crackle of flames, an out-of-control element must be near. The building tension and shit. The brutality of the battle is told by the scattered footprints. Oh, and then here I got distracted by this little thing. There's nothing unusual there, but like, it looks like a head maybe, or like a smashed bouquet of flowers, or like a moldy pizza or something. And I was saying all that, you know, before I yeeted my voice recording into the sun somehow, you know. Feel like that happens to every Let's Player at some point. More futile wind. Absolutely nothing remains. There is only desolation. Except for that table, I guess. Finally reach a locked door, so I'm like, oh shit, you know, that locked door must be something, right? Because we've been just going through up till now. Princess Hazucha lies limply on her throne. She is motionless. A spear has pierced Princess Hazucha's heart. Her forehead gem is gone. You hear Drakkhen's voice and footsteps coming from the next room. And once again, just having a whole separate sad music, presumably just for this one scene. They put so much into this. I was like really impressed with the acceleration, the escalation at this part. This is like the one part in the game so far where they've really put something into storytelling, you know? The rest has all been pure auto battles and exploring, you know? Alright, and we have another locked door. As you enter the room, Drakkhen's troops attack you. They seem to have Princess Hazucha's gem. Bam, 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 you know. One tough, random move. Prince Drakkhen has rushed into the room. I'm too late to save Princess Hazucha, but I will avenge her. Prince Drakkhen said in a rage, go to the castle of Natcha and slay her. And with that, that's enough for this one episode. We'll pick up the rest of my foolishly ruined recording on the next episode and watch as shit continues to hit the fan.